Well, Jim, another good run out, a relatively comfortable win in the end. What did you make of the game?
I think, like I said, it was hard to be harsh on the players. I don't think we were as smooth and sharp and fluid as we'd like, but it's only when you step into the middle pitch you realise how long the grass is, how soft the turf is, the wind, the slope. There's a lot of factors that kind of unsettle it, and Colne were keen and energetic. Played a very solid shape in the first half to restrict us playing through the lines, and I think what we needed to do was just up the tempo, keep trying to stretch them with some quality, and try as early as possible get balls in the box, and when we did that we got 2 good goals.
Does it make a difference at all when you're going from playing games against Salford, Fleetwood, Rochdale to playing the likes of Colne, no disrespect to them, when there's a lot more emphasis on you to dominate the ball, to play your game? That mentality switch, does that play an effect?
Very much so, because like when I set I've got a pre-season plan about the type of football that we want to play and how I go through, and you start off with progression of ball and then looking for if you like progression and penetration, and you expect at the early pre-season games that you can work on that because you'll have more possession against the weaker teams, and then you're looking for that side of it. Now when you start then flipping it round and you start playing Fleetwood, who just lost out in the playoffs for the championship, you then have to start thinking about your defensive shape, restricting them, etc. So I think it's that in that sense it's kind of it's been difficult to get the right measure between. But before the Salford game, for example, we felt that the players wanted to play a little bit more in a sense of restricting them, and also, if you like, playing in a way that we could retain the ball and circulate the ball better. And I think we've seen a really good performance against Salford, regardless of their shape. I think today we kind of we circulated the ball okay, but then we played into traps or fight balls, and some of that's down to them and the conditions, but it's also some of that's down to us that we need to tidy up on. But yeah, it does have a factor, but I think this next period we want to work on our shape, our progression. We don't want to be putting the ball into the front players and let them fight, and we want to try and go through the midfield if they allow us. If they don't let us go down the middle, let's go down the sides. If they stop both of them, we might have to go over them. But yeah, there's a lot of coaching work to be done, and we've got to tidy up on lots of different things, whether they be fast goal kicks from Ben, whether it be set plays, whether it be free kicks. We just got to keep tidying up everything. But I was really pleased with the bits that we've done this week, that I could see some of them working today. So in that sense, I'm really pleased.
You went with Richie Bennett and Jordan Williams up front. They've played together at Barrow and at Northwich, of course, and they linked up really well in the first half. What did you make of their performance?
Well, I think regardless of my relationship with them at Northwich, both of them have kicked on because they know how to hurt teams. They've got power, they've got pace, they're very hard to handle in all aspects of the pitch. I think the problem we had with them playing a back 5, they were having to work from one defender to the other, and the little tweak that we made was that instead of asking Connor to play as a 10, to play Connor in a front 3, and Connor ended up setting up a really good first opening goal by being in that kind of half space where he was playing inside right and was able to connect Adam Thomas on the outside. That did leave us a little bit short in midfield because we looked 3-4-3, and Lois and John had a lot of work to stop their 3. So we have to recognise that if we want to try and play an aggressive shape, how do we then come into another shape? So, and I think that with Belly, Reedy and Adam Thomas, if we play him up top when Corley's fit, that we need to be able to play in different ways as a front 3, and I think but we've definitely got power, pace and goals in those 3.
Talk about changing the shape in the forward line. You also switched from a back 3 to a back 4 in the second half. How important is it to have that flexibility in your formation? So many.
I don't think I think we've got to take into context it's a different team, and we've got to try and squeeze in Bell, Reid, Curran, Harvey, Fraser, Alex Curran, and then Jordan Keane's there with so I want to try and play a 2 with 3 attacking midfielders who link the play. We kind of kept the 2 centre halves on to keep, but I wanted to try and get everybody to play in their natural position, and the best formation for that was that. The context of the game, it was irrelevant, but what we have to recognise, because I think there was times in the second half where we looked like we could create pressure on them when we did turn them, or got into their final third because of the amount of attackers we had, but we also looked like we were a little bit more vulnerable to the counter, the transitional counter where we're trying to play. And as soon as we lost the ball in midfield, they had 2 or 3 really good chances, and then a set play came from that. And really, we shouldn't be allowing that. We should be knowing how to have the layers and the depth, both for defending but also for playing. And I think that's a little bit of work, because both particular groups need to learn how to change shapes or move out their shape. Whether that be someone like, say, Colne to become a front 3 or a 10, John Rooney to go from low line to midfield to attack midfield. The full-backs have got to learn to play as wing-backs, but then they're also got to be in attacking positions, and I think we've seen that really well from Adam Thomas, in the sense of that that's what you get from a winger that's playing at wing-back, because he does get to the byline and get your crosses in.
It was obviously a smaller squad size today as well. I think it was 20 men in the squad altogether, which is the number you identified earlier in pre-season as having going into the start of the season. Are you happy now with your squad? Are you still looking to improve?
Well, one of them's a trial player, one's a player on a short-term contract. I think for the shape we've got now, we probably would be cautious about the depth we have at centre-half and holding midfield, because if you look at Jordan Keane's been really the only option there. We can play Mark Kitchen tucked in a free. We could probably use the right back tucked in, because we've got the versatility on the right. We've got tremendous options up front. But yeah, I think Simon's still working hard with recruitment guys to get 1 or 2 additions. But I think we've seen something from Fraser today and from Harvey that could add slightly different types of players to the group we've got. But yeah, we'll continue. I don't think the improvement of the squad ever stops, but we've definitely got 18, possibly 19, 20 already. We're kind of quietly confident this week. We've seen Paul Turnbull. Obviously, I think Sam Walker and Darren are in negotiations with clubs, so which is great for them. But I think now in the training squad and the pre-seed matches, we've obviously got less bodies, but that will have 2 benefits really to us. We can focus on our current group, and we can also create a little bit of room for the likes of Jack Copkins, who can play centre half or hold at midfield, and Jordan Downing was playing for another team today to get more minutes. So we have got some depth within the group, but there's 1 or 2 perhaps need to go out and play and get the minutes and fight for a shirt later in for that 20 when the injuries kick in. But at the moment, we really want to work on our first 11, our 16 and then the 18, because when the games come, they'll come thick and fast, and we need everybody to be able to not only start and play 90 minutes, but also to be able to come off the bench and have a real impact, because everybody knows nowadays, regardless of how many subs they decide on having out of how many options, I think it's always been with me a 14-man effort on a Saturday.
One of those options, of course, is Macaulay Southern-Hale. He signed in the midweek from Fleetwood. What do you think he can add to the team going forward?
I think that when you see him, you'll see somebody that's quite sharp, dynamic. For somebody who's pitched as a full-back, you'll be surprised at his ability to get up the pitch and create opportunities and connect the game. Sam Minha, we've got a lot of time for Sam and Adam, and they work really hard, and they've been very solid players for us. But it might be them, we've seen with the injury to Sam, we might need to use Adam tucked in as part of the front 3 if we have any injuries. He did brilliant last year. Adam, I think if we remember the Hartlepool game he played there, the Dorking game he scored, and there's other games where if we let him get down the middle, you actually get yourself a goal. But it's great that we've got so many versatile players, but I think Macaulay will give us just that depth and extra quality, because that's what we're looking for from any further additions. They're either players that give us something that we haven't got, or give us the opportunity to stay really strong in all areas, and so I'm looking forward to seeing him now next Saturday.
Just finally, Jim, 4 weeks to go now until the start of the season. Season tickets went on sale last week. The fixtures come out on Tuesday. Is the excitement starting to build now for the start of the season?
Yeah, but I'm kind of like a medium-term thinker and a short-term thinker. I'm already thinking about what we're doing Monday. The fixtures will come out, and it always creates a bit of a stir. Everyone wants to see who we're playing at Christmas, first game, home or away. It gives us an idea of maybe the intensity of the fixtures that we might be facing. it doesn't really matter what order they come out on from the 3rd of October. We've just got to make sure this next 4 weeks that we've got. We're really pleased that we've had a long pre-season, because we have got those transitional issues where players are sort of getting to know each other. We're also getting to know the tactics and the details and the layers that, you know, and so there's a lot of work to be done to get all that across. You know, and that conversation I had in there with him was all about that, you know, taking things quickly from the training ground, taking ownership for it, making people know your job, but also know jobs around you so you can coach, rather than me having to tell people what to do. But yeah, exciting times there. The season tickets are brilliant. It's great today to have fans around us, to hear the singing, the chants and that. There's nothing like real football with real fans in the stadium, and I'm just looking forward now to that day when we can all be back at Edgeley Park enjoying a game. But yeah, the fixtures will certainly whet the appetite for people that are buying season tickets. But regardless of the order they come out, I think it's going to be a great year ahead, and I think everybody from myself through all the players and all the fans should be excited about what's to come.
Looking forward to it, Jim. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.